Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. In the last chapter, we saw how Parikshit subdues the Kali Purusha. In this 18th chapter, we will see how Parikshit incurs the curse of a Brahmin son. So Suta Pauranika says how amazing was the birth of Parikshit as he was saved by Krishna from the Brahmastra of Ashwathama, and his death is also very amazing. As soon as he came to know of his curse that he will die at the hands of the serpent Takshaka, he shook off all his attachments. He accepted the discipleship of sage Shuka, and having realized the truth about Lord Sri Hari, cast off his body on the bank of the Ganga. But he says this is the nature of Bhagavad Bhaktas who talk of nothing else than Lord Sri Krishna, enjoy his nectar-like stories, so even at the hour of death they are not perturbed. He says, Na syat sambhramo antakalepi. Suta says, Kali Yuga started the day Krishna had left this world, but since Parikshit was ruling, Kali could not enter anywhere as Parikshit had subdued him. But why did Parikshit only subdue Kali and not kill him? For this question, he says, Nanu dveshti kalim samrat saranga iva sarabhuk. He says Parikshit was like a bee who takes only honey from flowers. He took only good aspects out of everything. But what is so good about this Kali Yuga? Suta says, Kushalani ashu siddhyanti netarani kritaniyat. That is, in Kali Yuga, all the meritorious acts give results immediately, not when they are done, but even when they are thought of. But not so for sinful acts. You get results of sinful acts only when actually committed. So knowing about how people will be in Kali Yuga, this good aspect of Kali stopped him from annihilating him. Next, Suta also says one more aspect of Kali. Kimnu baleshu shurena kalina dhira bhiruna. Kali is very powerful towards those who are very ignorant and are drowned in Maya, but he is afraid before wise and strong-minded who are with Viveka and Vairagya. I have thus narrated to you, O sages, the sacred life account of Parikshit as asked by you, as it's connected with story of Sri Krishna. Now he stops. But Shaunaka Maharshi and all other sages were disappointed with the pause, and all of them together said, Suta Jiva Samah Saumya Shashvatir Vishadam Yashaha. O Suta Pauranika, may you live for years without number, because you are giving us this Krishna Kathamritam. To us, whose body has been soiled by smoke arising from sacrificial fires, you give us to drink the sweet honey flowing from the lotus feet of Sri Govinda. Apayayati Govinda Pada Padmasavam Madhu. They also say, Tulayama lavenapi na swargam na punarbhavam. We can't even compare swarga or even liberation, moksha, as even slightly equal to that. We can never be satiated with listening to the story of the Lord, as we wish to hear more and more. That great devotee Parikshit attained to the feet of Lord Krishna through wisdom taught by the sage Shuka. Please narrate to us that most sacred story imparted to Parikshit. Parikshitam, that Bhagavata, which is Ananta Charitopapannam, which is replete with all the leelas of the Lord. Bhagavatabhiramam, which is very dear to the Bhagavatas. Asamvritartham, please describe to us as it is in great detail. When all the rishis asked like this, Suta Pauranika was also very happy. He says, though I have not been born in a high caste, such differences goes away from mind when we have conversation with sadhus like you. So the whole purpose of my birth has been fulfilled today. I am so fortunate because you are asking me to narrate the Bhagavata Purana. The glories of the Lord are infinite. If we have to say how great Bhagavan is, it's enough to give few indications. He says during Samudra Manthan, when all the devas, they wished to attain Lakshmi Devi, she only sought the dust of his feet, even though he did not seek her hand. Next again, when Brahma offered water to wash the feet of the Lord, when he assumed a cosmic form at the sacrifice of the king Bali, That water flowed from the nails of his toes in the form of Ganga, which sanctifies the whole universe along with Lord Shiva. So he says, Ko nama loke bhagavat padarthaha. Who else than Lord Shri Krishna could deserve the title Bhagavan in this world? He says, before starting the story, I would like to give a disclaimer here that Nabaha patanti atmasamam patattrinaha tatha samam Vishnu gatim vipaschitaha. When the birds fly in the sky, each bird fly as high as it can or as it's capable of. So do the learned ones when they speak of Bhagavan. They speak only as much as they have understood. So I shall now narrate as much as I have understood. So now he resumes the story of Parikshit. Once King Parikshit went for hunting in the forest taking his bow. Even a dharmic king had to go to hunting, not because they enjoy the sport, because if the number of wild animals increase, they might harm the sages living in the forest. So that day, after following the animals, he became Shrantaha, fatigued, Shutitaha, very hungry, and Trishitaha, thirsty. Finding no reservoir of water in sight, he entered the hermitage of sage Shamika and saw there hermit who sat still with his eyes closed. His body was covered with matted hair and the deer skin. He was so deep in meditation that Sutta Pauranika says, Sthanatrayat param praptaha. He had crossed 3 states of consciousness of Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti, of waking, dreaming and dreamless sleep, and reached the 4th stage of Turiya or Samadhi. Finding him in this stage, Parikshit asked him for water, his tongue being parched with thirst. There were no movements seen in that stage, not being offered a mat, not given water, or even kind words. The king thought himself as treated with disrespect and got very angry. Kshutrangbyam arditatmanam. His mind being oppressed with hunger and thirst, all of a sudden a feeling of enmity and anger against the sage arose in him. That feeling, especially against a Brahmin, he had never entertained before. King Parikshit usually was very respectful towards rishis. Never did he disrespect any of them, but on that day, maybe because of mind not working because of hunger or thirst, or we can call fate, he was not able to control his anger and did something which he should not have done. There was a dead snake lying nearby. He took that with his end of his bow and threw it around the neck of the sage and left. His intention was to check if that rishi was really in meditation or he is acting to be in meditation, as he must have thought that he had nothing to do with these kings. Now the sage Shamika had a son named Shringi. Though he was a very young boy, he was Ati Tejasvi. He had abundant spiritual glow. He was playing with his friends nearby, and one of his friends came and told him about this incident. Having heard this, Shringi was furious. He said, Aho adharmah palanam pivnam bali bhujamiva. O unrighteousness of the ruling class who have grown fat like crows, the Brahmanas have appointed the Kshatriya as their doorkeeper, and how dare he insult Brahmin himself? Does he think that since Sri Krishna has left this world, there is nobody else to punish such wrongdoers? I am here to punish such people. Just see how powerful I am. He took some water from Kaushiki river, he did some achamana and gave a curse like a Vajrayudha in the form of words. Vag Vajram Visasarjaha. He said, that person who has crossed the boundary of Maryada and thrown a dead snake around my father's neck shall die from the 7th day from today, being bitten by a snake called Takshaka. The boy then returned to the ashrama and, distressed to see his father with a snake, wept loud. On hearing the laments of his son, the sage Shamika gradually opened his eyes and, throwing off the dead snake, asked his son, "Why are you weeping? What happened?" Shringi told everything that happened, and the sage was not at all happy to hear that Parikshit had been cursed, who did not deserve it. He said, "O foolish child, you have committed a great sin. For such a small mistake, you have given him such a big punishment. You are so immature that you are looking upon a king who is embodiment of all devas as a mere human being. It is only because of king that everybody in this world can live fearlessly. What will happen if king is not there? Thieves will crop forth in large numbers, and the world, which will be unprotected then, will perish like a flock of sheep in a moment. When the ruler is dead, thieves will rob the people of their property, and the evil that befalls them in this way will now fall on our head, since we shall be held responsible for the ruler's death. Emperor Parikshit, moreover, is such a Bhagavata. He is such a great Bhakta. He has done so many Ashwamedha yagas, since he was overcome with hunger, thirst and fatigue and absolutely helpless. Hence he did not deserve our curse. Naiva asmat shapam arhati. Thus grieved at the wrong done by his son, the great sage Shamika did not even think of the offense committed by the king. So now Suta Puranika concludes this chapter with this shloka which tells the greatness of sadhus like Shamika Maharshi. He says, such sadhus are so great that even when world gives them pain, they neither grieve nor rejoice with contrary experience. They maintain the equanimity, for soul is ever beyond the three gunas. प्रायशः साधवो लोके परैर्द्वन्द्वेषु योजिताः न व्यथन्ति न हृष्यन्ति यत आत्मा गुणाश्रयः. हरे कृष्ण.